Okay, everybody, clearing. Okay, today I'm going to dive into a little bit more of the energetics, the quantum, the spooky action at a distance. First off, though, I'm being instructed to do a timeline of past, present, and future for the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine collective to bring it up to speed with sort of the themes that each navigate. So bear with me, I'm kind of channeling it on the pre-shuffle, but I'm going to get a card for the past for the Divine Masculines. So thank you, Divine Creator, for showing us what we can see regarding the past for the Divine Masculines. Already on the floor. Okay, I'm just going to put the piles here and do now the past for the Divine Feminines. Okay, now I'm switching decks to the present energy for Divine Masculines. Okay, and for Divine Feminine's present energy. Lots came out for that. And here we go with the future. So a Divine Masculine future. Okay, and Divine Feminine future energies. Awesome. Okay, we got it. Let's start with Divine Masculines. So here are the cards we got. In the past, we have a timeline that starts with Lord of Swiftness, Eight of Wands. This is energetic navigation. So many of the Divine Masculines, at some point in the past, there has been a conscious recognition of energy, of an unusual, uncanny ability to navigate energy. This is childhood, so telekinesis, telepathy, premonitions, dreams I'm hearing. All the Divine Masculines have had a little bit of a supernatural bent. What else do we have? Two of Cups. They haven't believed in love. Agnostic. They've been Eros agnostics. So the existence of romantic love being elusive, they have had a very disheartening first-hand glimpse into the brokenness of the world regarding love. So that can be trauma of some sort, relationship, sexual, something has come in to these bright light Divine Masculines as children, as adolescents, somewhere in the imprinting. Their faith in love was, I wanted to say abrupted. Is that even a word? It is a very interesting channel. And then we have, so literally Lord of Love. The ways of the world, when something, this is the Two of Cups, the Lord of Love. When something is in the inverse, it's often from the limited perspective that can come in and be flipped into the spiritual antidote, remedy, viewpoint. The truth that sets you free is often an opposite day kind of energy where it's seen from an exact opposite perspective and suddenly clicks. And then Ace of Pentacles, Lord of the Root of the Powers of Earth. This is where the materialism sunk in. It's like a loss of innocence, a loss of belief in the higher, even though it's been in the back pocket all along. And then this delving full-heartedly into the root of the powers of earth, the root of the dysfunction that could do such a thing to love, that could mislabel love so drastically on the planet. Because the Divine Masculines are so energetically attuned from birth, sensitive, divine instruments. throat chakra. So haven't been seen or heard, went covert, went underground, capped their energy and tried to fit in. That's the past. Present, a very obvious understanding of having reached emperor status, energetic emperor status. Like it's child's play, the 3D, when you are a divine, energetically aligned being with eyes wide open on the chessboard, you know, navigating the material realm with those who don't have the sensitivities attuned can feel like child's play. There's a lot of ego in that, because that is where fame and success and reputation and status and all of that sinks in and catches hold. From these early childhood, adolescent beginnings of materialism to the domination of the 3D and the mastery of, in some cases, power over people, situations. I'm picking up on a little bit of a covert energy where divine masculines have felt cocky enough to believe they are the ones that could affect success in areas that were not even compatible with them, just because they said they wanted it. If anyone could do it, they could, kind of energy. But that's a lot of work. And so there seems to be an accumulation of effort. How does that work? Smarter, not harder. It was a work harder because I'm smarter template that I'm picking up on here. And now divine masculines in the present are reinventing that wheel and taking another look at, is it worth the effort to wear the mask, to be the ruler of that domain, to have that acclaim by worldly standards? Is that the meaning of life? We have the eclipses here again. So the next one is April 30th, 2022. We just had one on December 4th. We've got this window of this very theme right now. And then in the future for the masculines, diplomacy, there's negotiation. This looks like a teacher and students, or a group clarification, dissertation. This is a proclamation. There are all eyes on the masculine who has decided to put down the ways of karma, to shoot for victory, true victory, energetic victory, and not just buy into the concept of dominion of the 3D. What can we see, divine masculines who are on that trajectory? What can we focus on at this time? The way of the divine feminine revealed. So divine masculines, the way of the divine feminine. This is the Empress. You have the Emperor here. You've seen that, I want to say patriarchal, but that the dogma, the masculine way, is not the full picture. And now we have the way of the divine feminine revealed with this butterfly of transformation. So 11, let's see. The divine feminine yearns to reveal her way and wisdom to you, that you may live passionately and purposefully. As you trust her inner guiding voice, you recognize the authentic desires and visions that move you from within, that are the seeds of your sacred mission. You shall experience the clarity and soul-deep relief that only truth can bring. You shall experience a knowing of purpose that awakens your ability to live deliberately and experience a deep fulfillment, leaving the world and dropping into the intuition, the heart, the feminine, the spiritual reputation in the world, but not of the world. I want to say welcome home, divine masculines, to the otherworldly. And this feels like an augmentation that will be shared in the true victory, the claiming of the true victory, which does allow for sacred, profound mission and service and light to be brought in. Awesome. What trajectory shall we see for the divine feminines? We are getting, no kidding, the moon, divine feminine in the reverse, ruler of flux and reflux, so birth, rebirth, death, you know, all of that cycle of going with the flow. And Four of Swords, Lord of rest from strife, in the reverse. So in the past, it was a never-ending cycle, locked in the mundane, the hormonal, the lower, the lunar, the shadow, the subordinate. And there was strife because of the imbalances. So divine feminine, you were born into life paths in your past where you were extremely sensitive to environmental and social and cultural influences that didn't make sense. They didn't sink into the deeper levels. You could never quite align with them, and you felt like the odd one out. It just didn't connect on that deepest heart-centered truth. And you may have questioned if you were a lunatic for feeling and thinking so differently, for not knowing how to fit in, for seeing the drama, the strife, the cycles, and not knowing how to come up and out of them. And slowly but surely, you let that observation inform you about the nature of reality in part. This is part of the timeline that we're being asked to look at the trajectory of for the feminine, specifically today in this energy. In the current alignment, we have the devil, materialism. So your divine masculine being a master of the material realm and how human nature and people work and all of that is part of the piece of the puzzle. But you've also been specializing on and being shown a capstone that has lorded over you as a feminine energy, not being able to burst through that threshold because of the predominating energies and beliefs. You've been becoming under the surface and reaching your capacity despite the illusions of the 3D. You've been solving the challenges that the limitations placed on your life and your freedom and your spontaneity have caused you to consider. And it's starting to make sense, the ways that you have played small. It's working hand in hand with the collective energy, but you've contributed to it in the past. And now you're seeing how you can buck the system and bust the paradigms just by remembering that you can see things from a divine perspective that brings light into areas that were deemed immovable. This is the density, the densest assessment of reality. It's the most material. And so you're really being guided to see that layer of reality as being drawn to the fire. I want to say molten. Like even if something is metal, for instance, you can melt that with fire, with holy fire. So there's always a alchemical process that can be brought in to change the nature of what you believe you're looking at. And you're starting to work with that alchemy, feminines. The Five of Cups in the present is also in the reverse here, talking about seeing the love, the mythology, the hero's journey, the fairy tale through the loss, regret, mourning, through the illusion. When this card is in the reverse, it's highlighting what is possible, the higher templates. So you're seeing that a little bit more clearly. The energies are allowing for more of that to be revealed. Each little breakthrough thought that you have, Divine Feminine, in the name of progress, prosperity, and growth, helps to set off a natural progression, unfolding naturally, a chain reaction based on a new foundation of free thinking. And part of that is continuing to see the love in all things that appear not to contain it. This is the branching pattern, the rooting structure, the conduit of energy that nature shows us when we put the right things, the nutrients, into it. The sunlight, the water, the fertilizer. When we're in those alignments, the archetype of the sun is the empowerment. The archetype of the water is the emotions, the balance. And the fertilizer is the good attitude. And so there's prosperity and growth for you, Divine Feminines. And then we have the Mother of Swords in the reverse, which is a misconception. You're seeing or have the opportunity right now to see through some things even more clearly. So we're seeing through the nature of this density of the 3D by looking at the love in all things and seeking natural growth that's allowing for old thought forms to be cut out, and for the clarity of you, Divine Feminine, to witness yourself where you show up in this lower vibrational aspect. The Queen of Swords in the reverse is out of alignment. And so you are now seeing with crystal clear vision how you have played small, gotten it wrong, professed to know, been off track. It is possible that there are still many misconceptions, so take this present reminder to consider that you don't know all of the answers and that there is infinite room for growth, exploration, joy, discovery, adventure to be had. And don't cap what you believe is possible right now, Divine Feminines. Where is this going? More self-love. This is union within, but it's not only union within. This is the wellspring, the eternal youth. This is the aliveness. This is the emotional abundance that can come through you, divine feminines. So you are embodying the fountain. And this is a delicious, sensual, life-affirming frequency to be in. It's the living waters. You are a vessel for the living waters, divine feminines. Well, let's get a card. What can we see? Divine guidance for this trajectory that the divine feminines are on. We get nourishment of the soul. And that's card 32. You are granted the gifts of fertility, creativity, and earthly abundance to support all needs, for nourishing body, mind, and soul, and to live your life fully and be capable of manifesting your divine purpose. Give yourself permission to be nourished. This includes your body and also providing your heart, your mind, and your soul with what they are hungry for, meaning sweetness, divine love, and permission to be authentic. When you feed yourself that which truly nourishes you, wisely and generously, you shall become one who can also feed the world that for which it truly hungers. What did I say, divine feminines? You are becoming the fountain. Okay, now I'm going to go into some more delicious reading here. What can we see, Divine Creator, for the flow of energy that would be most beneficial for the twin collective to focus on consciously in the heart space as a wish going forward, actions to take, the pressing challenge at hand, the spirit-guided solution for that challenge, and the direction to be aware of potential unfolding in the near future. Okay, shuffling the clarifiers. We're going to get some Starseed Oracle and take this up energetically today. Okay, conscious mind for the twin collective. This is not just masculine or feminine, it's all. 7 of crystals. So this is contemplation about the things that must fall away. And we have the word contemplation, temple of meditation, communion, contemplation, and higher mind. Pay attention to everything that's coming up for your consideration right now, Divine Collective, because there are things of the past that will be released. All the falsehoods are falling. Be of higher contemplation, higher mind. Commune with your twin, with your inner union, in your alignment with the divine, and seek to have conversations that touch on the ascended. Start living there more often in all that you do, twin collective, consciously. What is the consideration on the heart space? 7 of flames, healthy balance, bravery, setting healthy standards, dancing with it. She's dressed in dance regalia and flowing with the fire of change. These are the opinions of the world and of the fear that the light workers, the twin flames, are here to restructure on the heart space in the name of love. And we have Temple of the Moon Goddess, emotional transparency, nurturance, and grace. Divine masculines, you got that you're embodying this divine feminine, heightened intuitive understanding. And divine feminines, you got the moon energy already. the flux and reflux. And so stride with the emotional transparency. That is the fire that you can bring to these situations that demonstrate the grace. The High Priestess feminine energy is mercy and humility and grace, which comes from owning the emotional transparency and being straightforward in matters of the heart. If you don't know how to use language to describe that, meditate on the essence of what your emotions show you. Meditate on the essence of what your heart directs, and speak from that place of love and simplicity. What shall we be wishing for? The Two of Cups. Love in all things. Divinity, honor, responsibility, and humility. When we activate a higher understanding and anchor it into the heart space through ownership of the light that we are, we can wish with our whole heart for unadulterated, divine, and humble access to love in all things. It's so beautiful. Wish for it, believe in it, reclaim it, live it. What is the action being taken? Spiritual strength, virtue, and valor. And the King of Cups with this emotional welling up, mastery, it can be unbalanced when we don't say the things that are on our heart. So whether you are oversharing or bottling up and not sharing, employ spiritual strength, virtue, and valor to represent with humble grace, emotional transparency, with clear communication, decision making, action in your lives. What is the challenge we're meant to address at this time? The karma. This is the Five of Flames that we saw for divine masculines. You're going to be stepping into this final sharing, or, stepping in as lights. I can't find the card right now that you got, but there is that energy of sharing what you know. Divination, intuition, and inner vision. This is a shamanic process. So the challenge is channeling, being able to divine in the moment the frequencies that are accurately being seen in the moment, and then meeting that energy right there in that spot so that it can be celebrated, encouraged, and brought higher. So that's the challenge, is being able, the Five of Wands can be our family, friends, entrenched karmic dynamics that just with a little bit of light and love brought into it can change everything. So that's the challenge. What is the spirit-guided solution? Asking for divine intervention. This is the quantum lasting building block of reality that acts as the new foundation, the new earth templates. Crystal capacitor, storage, timed release, and focus force. We are the ones we've been waiting for. It's time to ask on Most High for that assistance from the entourage behind the veil and roll it out. We are the specialists of love dynamics, twin flames. So don't forget, you've got the divine and all of your guides, ancestors, angels in your toolkit to access for these now moments. The time is now, I'm hearing. Where are things going? Communication, self-love, protection. Things are getting rolling, I just heard, and you are protected because you've become accountable and entrusted with this energy. You've purified and refined. So trust the process, trust what you're getting, trust the guidance, trust the feeling of embodiment, and move freely upon the earth, I just heard. Okay, many blessings, everyone. Bye for now.